Nammo Phat. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. This morning we're reciting the fourth wonderful precept. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful speech and the inability to listen to others, I vow to cultivate loving speech and deep listening in order to bring joy and happiness to others and to relieve others of their suffering. Knowing that words can create happiness or suffering, I am determined to speak truthfully, with words that inspire self-confidence, joy, and hope. I will not spread news that I do not know to be certain, and will not criticize or condemn things of which I am not sure. I will refrain from uttering words that can cause division or discord, or that can cause the family or the community to break. I am determined to make all efforts to reconcile and resolve all conflicts, however small. Today we're starting a new chapter in Ajahn Sucitta's book, Kamma and the End of Kamma. This is Kamma and Memory, Clearing the Past. Do you ever remember things you wish you hadn't done? Or sometimes after coming out with a cutting remark or catching yourself exaggerating in order to get your own way, have the sinking realization, uh-oh, lost it again. Probably take me lifetimes to control my mind. I've got a lot of kamma. At some time or another, all of us have said or done things that we look back on with some regret. Or we have not done things, not said the generous, friendly thing we wish we had done. Said, not done the noble or caring deed that we wish we had done. Then again, we may have had unpleasant things done to us. Other people may have taken advantage of us or abused us. People we trusted let us down. Perhaps the mistrust of other people is still lingering, and that may make us feel withdrawn and isolated. So, there can be these unpleasant perceptions or felt meanings in the mind that lessen our self-respect and our confidence in doing things or in being with others. These felt meanings can form patterns of behavior or life statements of who we are, the victim, the one who gets left out, the flawed, unloved, or impure. And those patterns can keep weaving through and informing different scenarios. It's like the actors and backdrops change, but the tones of mistrust or alienation keep resounding in our hearts. Old kamma doesn't die. This is vipaka, old kamma. And it doesn't die, not without some assistance, but not all of it is a result of actions that you've done. The most basic old kamma is that of being born, of inheriting consciousness, vijnana. Consciousness is what internalizes sense experience. It gives rise to the sense, this is happening to me. A chicken or a lizard gets that. It's the result of being born with consciousness. That is, some sense object is in the presence of a functioning sense organ, and with that disturbance contact, paticca, consciousness arises. Then, mental consciousness forms perception, an impression of what has been seen, and so on. That's the way experience is internalized. Wherever mental consciousness takes place, there is an impression or designation contact. We're affected by and respond to this impression. Contact is the act of registering experience. Now, take the case when we're intensely focused on reading a book or watching a movie. Awareness of our bodies, of the pressure of the chair, and maybe even a minor ache or pain disappears. The mind's attention is absorbed in seeing and processing the scene. So the tactile impressions of the chair and of sitting here don't register an internal impression. In such case, contact can't be said to have occurred. Contact depends on where the attention is. When we do experience contact, there's a shift. Something resonates. What occurs is that certain patterns of energy in the bodily, conceptual, or emotive domains respond. So, to be conscious of something entails an energetic shift. We focus, light up, relax, or retract. We're moved. The way in which we are moved, dependent on attention and contact, forms programs and patterning, sankhara, such as arousal, relaxation, or defense. Consciousness is bound up with these. It is programmed to form and retain further programs and patterns. And these carry intention in the forms of momentary response or of sustained purpose. The most fundamental intention is to ascertain whether a sight, sound, touch, etc. is an indication of threat or enjoyment. This, at a very basic level, is what programs our lives. We seek the agreeable and seek to avoid the disagreeable. The nature of intention also affects attention. When a thief looks at a saint, he notices the saint's pockets, and the intention is steered by what our minds have designated as offering pleasure, such as acquiring some money, or, of course, displeasure. But as in the above example, it's not the tactile sensation of holding coins in the hand that is pleasing, but what that means. So the felt meaning of an experience, this heart impression or designation contact, is the most important aspect of contact. Through these felt meanings, we cognize, we learn the meaning of things. Smile means friendly, this person is trustworthy, etc. Then we recognize those signs when we come across them or others like them. This is how felt meanings, appetites, and needs of the heart have their effect on what gets looked out for and what gets recorded. Then, what grabs the mind's attention are signs that represent those pleasant or unpleasant meanings. These signs become reference points for how we'll feel good, or not, in the present. In the above case, this means that the thief weighs up his opportunity, then, when the saint's attention is elsewhere, picks the pocket. In other words, designation contact depends on the patterning, the old Kamma, and is a basis for action, fresh Kamma. This patterning process is more than a mental one. The body also learns and even remembers. For example, it has learned how to stand up and maintain balance. It knows what sensations, what pressures in the feet, etc. indicate that it is firmly balanced. Also, this bodily intelligence provides us with flight, freeze, and fight reflexes. When we are in an argument, the body tightens up. A loud noise may cause us to jump. A warm smile trigger off a flutter in the pulse, and so on. Body and mind base are essentially not separate, and at an instinctive reflex level, bodily intelligence will override the rational. This is important to bear in mind because even when a memory or the result of Kamma is reasoned with and dismissed, forgotten, or suppressed, there can still be a bodily and emotive memory of significant events, and like any other memory that can arise at an unexpected time. What we loosely call memory, then, is a reference of consciousness to established patterns. And when memory takes place, it acts as a sudden call. This is what happened, and you in the present are part of that. This memory may be something you bring about deliberately, or it can be an involuntary occurrence, such as emotionally charged flashbacks or traumas with their sudden shifts in bodily energy. Based on this triggering of old patterns, I assess a current situation in terms of my past and determine what to do. I assess a current situation according to how it resembles one in the past, and that helps me to determine what to do. Although it's neutral at times, the memory process is emotive, and it's sometimes intensely evocative. If an event has emotionally moved us in the past, the heart impression is strong. Then, with the memory, the emotion is brought up. It is involuntary, and it can be scary when the present suddenly becomes an intense reliving of the emotional past. You were talking to someone. The conversation took a few turns, and suddenly you were back arguing with your father, or feeling rejected by a loved one again. This reliving of past events is the case even when we didn't do anything, but we're the recipients of other people's bad or good actions. Why? Because retaining an emotional affect as a heart impression and then recycling it is a program of the affective mind or heart. That's the old kamma of having an affective mind. And heart impressions, whether they are of delight or fear, get referred to as me, mine, myself. So, our sense of self is not just generated by how we've acted, it also arises through an instinctive acceptance and reenactment of what we've been told we are, or what we've felt we are. Our personality keeps evolving in that way, and so, unless we cultivate letting go of old patterns and give up accepting heart impressions as unbiased truth and myself, the issues of the past will be the basis for further kamma. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu. 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 Thank you for joining me this morning, and I hope you have a very pleasant day.